Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again for another Market Watch investments video for you guys tonight. I'm going to be showcasing my personal selections, and I hope you enjoy. So I wanted to mention Medolce as an archetype decor in general. Really cool mechanics behind that. I really like how the Field Magic card recycles everything back in the deck, and there's some really great value here, obviously in the ultimate rares being, old school ultimate rares out of Return of the Duelist, Abyss Rising, definitely up there in age. There's a couple of reprints here of Angeli, and what else got reprinted? I think Mangeline got reprinted as well, but the rest of the deck, besides excluding the ultimate rares, are really just not a whole bunch of money for what it is, and I think this is a really popular decor. Again, the mechanics behind this is really cool, and all the artwork is like really cutesy, like cartoony artwork. It's pretty cool, and this is just a really cool deck. So I wanted to give it a little spotlight. I definitely believe that it deserves some spotlight time. So Medolce is something, if you guys are looking for a pretty cool decor that's what I think is relatively affordable right now with the few reprints that's had, this is definitely in a good spot. Next is going to be Morphing Jar. This is specifically the super rare version, the only hollow foil version that we got here in the TCG from Legendary Collection Yugi's World, Legendary Collection 3. This is an amazing reprint set. I have nothing but praise for this set. I talk about this set and Legendary Collection 4 a whole bunch. I'm going to be showcasing another Legendary Collection set later on this video as well. And there's just amazing cards and amazing rarities. You guys definitely need to check this set out. It's really great. A lot of hidden gems. I was playing online and someone actually whipped this on me and actually pulled it off, and I've been really knees deep into anti-meta of late and been playtesting my different builds online, and someone actually ripped this off on me. I didn't have my border on board and ended up recycling my field, and it was pretty devastating. It was pretty cool. And I just completely forgot about this card. It was banned for the longest time, and now it's completely off the list. I believe it's at 3 right now. Kind of silly artwork, but, it's just an old school card from back in the day, Gen 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! I believe, I don't remember. I want to say maybe Pharaoh's Servant was the original print as a rare or something like that. A couple different versions. Obviously, I think that this would be the best because it's the highest rarity. Again, you're always going to want to go first editions on these. And they're really only about 2 bones, pretty much. Near mint first editions are 2 bones pretty much all across the board before you factor in shipping, and 5+ pages on the market. So really cool stuff on Morphing Jar 2. So besides anti-meta, the week before I was really messing around with zombies. I actually just ordered some stuff in, and it's slowly starting to trickle in the mail into here over here in New York. It's a little bit of a different pace over here, but finally starting to get the stuff that I needed for the zombie builds. And it's been really, really great. I've had a blast. Super Polymerization at 3 is just completely ridiculous in this format with zombies. And with other decks too. I'm a big avid player of Shaddolls. I really love Shaddolls too. I love blending Shaddol engines and different stuff. And it's just a lot of fun. And I never have room. I've been messing around with different builds, and I never have room for Mizuki or Gozuki. I love these cards so much, and I would really like to maybe tech one of these, but who knows? The versions that I've been playing is predominantly more reliant on Nether Soul Dragon and Necro Dragon, and just kind of turbo with, of course, the Zombie Horde engine and all that, and Super Poly and all that great stuff. So I really love this card a lot, though. So a couple different prints of this. For the longest time, this used to be a solo print. I think there's only one other version. I think it's a common or something. But this is from Duel Saga. Again, Duel Saga is really amazing. I talk about it all the time. Duel Saga and Duel Terminal run parallel in White Mexican theory because they have not been reproduced. Konami has not pushed communication of reproducing the Duel Terminal rarities or Duel Saga. Duel Saga on its own merit alone is very unique. It's the only set in all the TCG has the special ultra rare foiling. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Really great stuff. But this is definitely the best rarity that we have, and it's roughly around 2 bones before you factor in shipping. And then kind of trickles up a little bit after that, and there's 4 pages on here, so plenty of availability still, but a really interesting card for zombies that a lot of people opt to play, and there's so many people. I don't know if there's like a trending of people playing more zombies. I've always really liked zombies ever since Zombie Horde came out. So next card is going to be another zombie card. So Ghost Meets Girl, a Shiranui story. This is a solo print ultra rare Dawning on a Savage Strike. And I have mixed feelings about this. So it's pretty cool because you can get a zombie live in the grave, and then you can whip out your solitaire, and then, of course, go into your unizombie plays. It's another way of doing it. And, there's your opponent has to control monsters, so that kind of sets you back a little bit. You can't. This isn't like a turn one card, but I don't know. There's something about this card. I'm trying to read here. I'm trying to remember. You discard one special summon with a different name. Also, you can have so I don't know. It's just a different way. In my personal builds, and there's another thing is the Swallow. There's a Shiranui Swallow Trap card that's basically like an Icarus attack where you tribute one zombie and you destroy two, which is really cool. So blending in a little bit more of the Shiranui engine, there's different blends. It's a really good engine. I'll personally only use Solitaire myself. I actually run the version where 3 Solitaire, 3 Unizombie, and pretty much 3 of everything, and it's been working out really, really well for me. I know that Eldritch is like really, really strong. I know some big zombie players are blending Eldritch, and it's been working very well for them as well. It's definitely one of the top, more precise builds. But anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Obviously, this is like 2 bones. It's really, really cheap, but it's just another alternative way to get to your Solitaire, which ultimately can give you to your Unizombie. And I don't know. This was kind of an interesting card, cool, and more specifically because it was a solo print too, and it has a really cool name. I don't know, I really like the artwork, and the name is really cool. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was the Zombie Horde structure deck in general. So I'm a really big fan of I don't really know how to say it. I guess minor or a little bit more affordable investments. I'm not like a big time spender. I love collector stuff a lot, high rarity stuff, but that really isn't necessarily like my main target audience with these market watch investment videos specifically. I mean, I love it. I'm all about it. Like, that's what I love about this game is there's so many different angles that you can go at with this game. But I'm a really big fan of when a structure deck drops, more specifically when you do a pre-order before it drops here in the TCG. If you believe personally that something's going to be really popular or really good or really meta or just hold really good reprint value for at least quite a while, I would definitely recommend pre-ordering it, investing it. My personal platform of choice is eBay. I usually go on eBay and do and order cases, and it's important to order cases. Order exclusively first edition sealed cases. They come in stacks of 8 deck boxes, and just sit on them, wait, hold them, and they just let them collect. With a lot of sealed product investments, they just collect over time as they go away. As they get older, they're harder to get, and you have the first edition versions, you have them sealed. It's really, really great, and a perfect example of what a great investment this is, and still to the day kicking myself in the back for not investing in the Zombie Horde structure deck, because when this dropped, what was it, 2 years ago, I was in Japan, and I remember actually having a couple, I think I had 3 or 4 cases, first edition sealed, of this structure deck, and I was going to, check it out and go and get them, and I decided not to. I decided to save the money, I decided not to spend the money, I decided not to do the investment, and these are seeing some really great price values, and they've fluctuated. Zombies, I think, over the last couple, I don't know, I just feel that it's a really good deck, and it's a really fun deck, and I think of late it's been a little bit more popular. I think a lot of people have been kind of like migrating towards it more. I'm not really sure why, besides just really fun, relatively easy to pilot. There's a lot of different splashable engines that you can blend into it, and it's just really, really fun, and I think it's really good, especially with super polymerization. It's just crazy. So, I mean, we can see here, like Banshee alone, I've always known that this card was not going to stay a $2 or $3 card. This card is amazing. This is like one of the best cards, one of the best. It's just so good, and the artwork is really, really cool. This is a solo print. Again, this card's not that old, and this is a solo print, super rare. It's super rare, which is really great. And then, of course, we have the Doom King over here, which is roughly sitting around 6, and then you have Glow Up Bloom, which is sitting around 3. Even like Common Solitaire. So obviously, it's well known, widespread, that you use Solitaire to to get to your Unizombie, and then Unizombie just, you know, starts all your plays. It's a really big thing for the engine for this deck. So just in general, with the four top cards here, even Gozuki being a couple bones, Meizuki over here, and there's just some really great cards. You got Foolish, of course, you got Zombie World, you got Book of Life, you got the Unizombie himself. Shared Ride is common. This is a really great card. I love this card a lot. I personally invested relatively heavily in the first edition OG Print Secrets. I think this is like a really good, it's like a pseudo Max C, and this is just a prime example of just what investing early. You have to do it early. Again, I'm talking about like pre-release on these structure decks, because then you can even get them cheaper. The majority of times you can get them even cheaper than the standard price of 10 bones per deck, and you can just save even more. And this is a really great investment. So next is going to be the Dark Door. This is specifically the OG print from Labyrinth and Nightmare. We're talking about like Gen 1 set, what was this, like 5 or 6 or something. Of course, it has the magic stamp here because it's super ancient. Again, I've been really messing around a lot with anti-meta. And anti-meta, I've been a big anti-meta player for so long, just because I really don't like spending hours and hours like studying the meta and learning all the big decks, and it actually hurts me a lot. I really need to spend more time investing into kind of learning the newer meta and the newer decks, because it ends up hurting me in tournament play and all that. But it's just sometimes I'm honestly lazy. I don't like to just study a whole bunch of stuff for like hours and hours at a time. I'll watch a couple videos here and there, but again, I think this is just a really cool card. It's really interesting. Both players can only attack with one monster. Again, really old school card, really cool effect. This technically isn't the highest rarity. We have a rare that came out of, I believe, one of the Legendary Collection sets. But this one has the magic stamp, and it's the OG print. And, you know, if you can, of course, obviously go for first editions, I would much rather prefer having this one being have it being the original print, and that, you know, it has the magic stamp. And obviously, you know, you can get first editions. You can get first editions with Legendary Collection rares too, but, you know, it's just completely up to you guys, personal preference. But pretty cool tech card. And this is roughly around a bone for a lightly played first. There's a 1 over here, and then there's 5+ pages here on the market, and, you know, it's barely over a bone. So it's really, for lightly played, it's really just not that much. It's just, again, the age of this, and, you know, no one really expects this, which I think is a really cool surprise card. Next is going to be Swords of Concealing Light. This is the highest rarity as the ultimate rare. There is other versions. I believe we have a common version. I know we have at least an ultra rare version. And this is a really cool card. One, it has like super badass artwork. It reminds me of like Black Pearl, like pirate style kind of stuff. Really cool dark artwork. Of course, it's an old school ultimate rare from Flaming Eternity, which give it some really great value. And the question is do you use this card over Dark Ruler No More? Obviously, Dark Ruler No More came in common and Prismatic Secret as a tin promo. Or was it promo? I think it was a promo. And there's just, like, which one do you use? Technically, this one lasts longer. This one lasts for 2 turns. You can negate your opponent's effects for 2 turns. And also, it puts them in face-down defense. So they can't, you know, it's going to be, you know, they can't, I don't believe they can't link with them. They can't really do anything with them, I don't think, because they're face down. I'm not really sure about the strict ruling behind all that, but I'm pretty sure they can't much do anything with them for extra deck requirements specifically. And it basically doubles up on the negating factor, which it can be really good, but then you have to take into fact, of course, it's a continuous magic card, so they could MST it, they could Twin Twister it, they could Harpy's Feather Duster, they could do whatever, and they completely just unlock themselves by destroying it. So it leaves you invulnerable because it stays on the field, as opposed to Dark Ruler No More. You just play it, and then it just locks it down for the turn. So there's a couple different minor differences, well, actually pretty major differences, but just the sheer fact that this is a high rarity of an ultimate rare. It's older up there. Flaming Eternity is a very old set, and this is just, it's really good. I've always really liked this card a lot. So Unlimited's lightly played here, going for about 13 bones starting market price. We get our first editions here for almost 56 bones. So what a price difference between Unlimited's and first editions here for the Ultimates again. And there's only 1 page on the market here. Then it bombs out at 350 bones, and there's a 2 stack. So this has been pretty much cleared off the market for first edition. So if you guys have a first edition one of these, you guys have great money. And this is just a really awesome card. Next is going to be Spiral Resort. So I don't much know anything about Spirals. I didn't really play very heavily when Spirals were full power and just completely dominating and doing a whole bunch of crazy shenanigans. I've never piloted the deck, never built it, never really invested into Spiral stuff. The only stuff Spiral related that I invested into personally was I invested into a couple of the super quick fixes, and what is the Secretary ultra rare lady? And it was all just because for artwork. Misty. Here's Misty. So the original ultra rare first editions, exclusively ultra rare first edition Spy Guild Misties. I think the artwork's really cool on this, and they're so cheap, and they're still super cheap. So I invested in several copies of the original first edition ultras. Again, not really big a fan of ultras. There's just something about Misty. I think it's really cool. It's got really cool artwork. I like it, and it was just so cheap. So that was really the only thing besides the quick fixes that I thought were relatively, again, these are really cheap too. And just like Zoodiac, so I bought a whole bunch of Zoodiac stuff right after Zoodiac, not really right after Zoodiac got completely annihilated by the list, but about a year or two, maybe, roughly around about a year or two after Raging Tempest came out, when I picked up a lot of the OTS supers, like the Rams and all that, and obviously that was a perfect example. Those paid off really well because those increased over time with the popularity of the Zeus stuff coming back into the format. And this card is this card's insane. First of all, it has 3 different effects, which is really, really crazy for one field magic card. But the best thing about this is that this recycle factor right here. So, it's actually not even in here. I'm sorry, it's cut off. So TCGP is not showing the rest of this. The third effect is at the very bottom here. It's basically you have to, at the end phase, it gets destroyed unless you add one monster from your graveyard and add it back into the deck and just recycle any monster. And it's not specifically a Spiral monster. It's any monsters. The only reason why I came across this is because I was, again, playtesting my anti-meta deck, and I ran into a Spiral player, and he used this, and I'd forgotten like how insane this card is because it literally has 3 different effects. And the last fact that you can just recycle any monster from your graveyard is really, really cool. And I thought, maybe I can use that in anti-meta when I'm not using my removal cards. But who knows? I just thought that was a really cool techie card that, I just think of some crazy things sometimes. Not necessarily going to use it. I just thought this card was insane. And another really great thing about this card to be aware of, it's a solo print. This is the only version that we have here in the TCG, and it is a super rare originating from Invasion Vengeance, which is up there in age now. I believe that set came out in 2016, so we're talking about a 5-year-old set. Next is going to be Inferno Tempest. So this is another solo print card, or at least unless I did the engine search wrong here on TCGP, I'm not really sure, but this, to my understanding, this is a solo print, and it only came out of movie exclusive pack, which is insane. Like, this being a solo print, only coming out of a movie exclusive pack is really insane. Very, very situational. You have to take 3k all from one battle for you to activate it. Obviously, it's a quick play, so play it from your hand or set it, whatever you want to do. But the sheer fact, the power behind this card is insane. It's very situational again, but removing all monsters in each player's deck and graveyard from play is just like insane. This is like Exodia Obliterate right here. This artwork is just really cool. It's insane. I don't really know what's going on here, but obviously it's got something to do with Fire and Tempest and Inferno stuff, and this is just a really crazy card. I don't know. There's something about this card, more specifically that it's a solo print, and just the set that it came from is such an obscure set that I just needed to give it a spotlight a little bit. I think it definitely deserves some time in the spotlight for that. So roughly around 2 bones if you factor in shipping. There's about 5 pages here on the market, and then it trickles up to about like around 2-3. So interesting enough. I don't know. That's just a very obscure card. So I just wanted to showcase that for you guys really quick. Next is going to be Cursed Seal of the Forbidden Spell. So this had a little bit of hype. there was definitely some people that were kind of mainstreaming this for a little while. Again, this is kind of a hard card to pull off because it's very specific. You do need to offer up a magic card to activate it. Great thing about this is it is, of course, a counter trap, so fastest card in the game. Really, really great stuff. And what makes this card really unique is that it locks down the magic card for the entire duel. So there's a lot of decks now, there always has been, there always will be, that run a trip stack of magic cards that they need that are really, really key things. Like an example, back in the day, Sky Strikers with Sky Striker Engage, like that was a huge card. They're obviously going to run 3 of those. You negate that and it just completely stops them from using it for the entire duel, for the whole game. So really, really blowout. Again, it is very unfortunate that you have to discard specifically another magic card, and that has to be specifically, a spell card. But granted, spell cards are very, very dominant. They're very, very useful in the game, and pretty much every deck is going to run really, really key magic cards. So really great stuff. There's several different really cool prints of this. Like there's a champion pack common. Unfortunately, we still don't have a holo print, but there's a champions pack common. There's an OTS and an astral pack or something. Several different crazy Dark Revelations, I believe it was, and a champion pack and a astral pack. So really interesting obscure sets that this got reprinted in. This obviously being the OG out of Invasion of Chaos, which happens to be my favorite set of like all of Gen 1. Like I'm a huge avid collector of Gen 1 Yu-Gi-Oh!, which I consider LOB through RDS, and Invasion of Chaos. Cookie cutter Chaos format was just so amazing, so much memories, so much nostalgic factor behind that. So it's my favorite set. And this is roughly around 2 bones. There's a first edition here, lightly played for about 2 bones if you factor in shipping. Unlimiteds really aren't much of anything. And for near mints, let's see if we can find some near mints on here. Well, anyway, you're going to be digging for a while if you want a first edition near mint of this card, because it looks like there's not really a whole bunch of availability. Again, lightly playeds are going to be roughly around 2-ish, 3 bones if you factor in shipping towards the end of these. 7 pages here on the market, and the first edition near mint that we're going to get is going to be roughly around 3 bones, which actually happens to be a 6 stack, which is pretty cool. So there's that. Next is going to be non-fusion area. So again, naturally being a big anti-meta player, I love just these random floodgates, these random really just juicy continuous trap cards that just completely change the game state. Really great stuff. Now specifically, this is for fusions, obviously. A couple different prints of this, all common. Personally, I think that this is the best version. I want to say I believe there's a Dark Revelations version and a Legendary Collection 2 version, but personally I would want this one because it's the OG one out of Elemental Energy. Really, really old set. This set gave us Brow, and I love Brow. Ultimate Brow is beautiful. I have several Ultimate Brows and a huge Dark World player. Ever since Gates of the Underworld came out, I've just been completely on the Dark World fanboy basis. And anyway, this is the OG print, and it's roughly around 15 cents, barely $1 for first edition lightly plates before you factor in shipping and all that. Really not much of anything. 5+ pages, but this is just a cool floodgate. I know there's a lot of crazy fusions going on around here, especially with all the zombie stuff going on, so this is kind of just an alternative choice. So a lot of different cool stuff that you can do with that. Next is going to be Huge Revolution is over. So this is a really old school card that I used to use back in the day when the paranoia for Heavy Storm was thick. Obviously now we have Harpy's Feather Duster is unlocked, and we have Lightning Storm and a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Regeki's back, so even more so, I feel like this would be even more predominant than back in the day. We have Twin Twisters. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's out there right now that can do a lot of disruption, a lot of damage, destruction on the board. I still believe this card holds up. You have to really know the player base and kind of know what you're up against, but I love how this card is a counter trap, so it's quick, it's strong, and I love how it removes the card from play, which is really, really good. And it's anything. It's a magic card, trap card, monsters, effect. The only thing is that it has to be 2 or more. If this said that's the only limiting restriction, but I think for the trade-off is pretty good. It's a counter, and it stops pretty much anything in the game, any type of effect. That's really good. So, and of course the sheer fact that not only destroys it, it removes it. So that's really cool. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to recycle that effect that you negate. So pretty great stuff. This used to be a solo print. It's no longer a solo print. I believe it got a Speed Duels reprint as a common or something like that. Pretty much not really anything. Like 15 cents. There's a Here Lightly Played near mints. It's a 2-stack, 5+ pages. So really not an expensive card at all, but just something food for thought. I really like the artwork on this card a lot. So just wanted to showcase that, give it a little love. So next is going to be Legendary Collections 2. This, again, like Legendary Collection 3 and 4, Legendary Collection Kaiba, and I believe, I don't know, is Legendary Collection, okay, no, this is the GX one. Legendary Collection 2 is the GX one. Anyway, a lot of awesome hero stuff. Obviously, Heroes was a big part of the GX format. I know there's some crazy hero players out there. There always is, just like the Cyber Dragon players. Here's some Cyber Dragon stuff too. So again, just a really old school set with really great stuff. You got Cyber End, you got Super Polymerization, this hero stuff over here. We got this really, this is my favorite artwork of Cyber Dragon, like the dark looking Cyber Dragon. It looks like a lot more evil. It's really cool. Is there two different Cyber Ends? Cyber End. I guess there's two different other alternate art. So 2 different versions of Cyber End Dragon as secret rare is pretty cool. There's Gaius right here. This used to be used in Burning Abyss, I believe, a while back. You got secret versions of Great Shogun Shien. Really like Six Samurais a lot, so that's pretty cool. We got a couple of the Gladiator Beast stuff here. More specifically, I'm a lot more excited about the secret rares. Obviously, the secret rare choices in these Legendary Collection sets are always phenomenal. And there's just some really great stuff. It's some old school stuff and some really nice rarities. And I would definitely check them out. It looks like my internet's going to be slow. So if you guys have time, I would definitely check out all the Legendary Collection sets. But this is just another great one to check out. So the next is going to be Dark Magician Girl. A lot of people are talking about and kind of have all this hype about Dark Magician Girl being reprinted again in the Lost Art, Wave 2 of the Lost Art. It was such a big hit. Konami's making a business move by reproducing again, giving the players more chance to get the ultra rare versions, the exact same version of Dark Magician Girl as an ultra rare. And a lot of people maybe are freaking out. Maybe people are trying to sell. People have just, I know personally there's several players that are just all over and all about investing in the Lost Art Dark Magician Girl. And again, player preference, everyone to each of their own. White Mexican theory is I think they're looking in the wrong place, honestly. I really think, it's great. I own 2. I own 2 of the Lost Arts. I didn't buy them. I traded for them for 50. When they were valuing at 50 several weeks ago, I picked up 2 of them in trades, and I ended up selling them for, I believe, 60 or 65 a piece on TCGP, and I was happy with that. I was gladly happy to get rid of them for 60 or 65 or whatever it was. I know the price has been fluctuating a lot, and it's kind of dwindled quite a bit with the announcement of the reprint again, and so, they made them in ultra rares, though. I mean, am I the only one that cares that all the Lost Arts are pretty cool, and the whole idea behind it, and I get it, and Konami definitely, kind of put themselves out on a whim to invest in the Lost Arts and all that, and it's kind of a bittersweet for me personally, because, I lived in Japan for several years, and I invested very heavily in a lot of, like, high-rarity OCG stuff, primarily in uncensored stuff, and obviously when the Lost Arts were announced, things started to kind of go down in value from the Japanese or OCG side. But there's still some things that still I personally believe hold up and will hold up. Like if Konami really is gonna make all about the Lost Arts only being ultra rare, I think people that hold the OCG stuff are gonna be in a really great position. Plus, the sheer fact that they announced that they're making the same card and the same artwork and the same rarity again is just ridiculous. Like I think it's incredibly just, I'm just not a fan of it personally. I would much rather invest and continue to invest in the OCG stuff, because the OCG has phenomenally superior rarities of Dark Magician Girl. Like, we're just gonna have this flimsy ultra rare like all day long? I mean, and the artwork that they picked I'm just not really a big fan of that artwork too. This artwork is amazing. This is the OG original artwork of Dark Magician Girl. If they come out with a ghost, which, who knows, maybe, again, if you guys saw my video about the Ghost of the Past coming out, this is potentially hyped to get a Ghost Rare reprint. And you guys, if you guys watch that video, you know my theory, you know my thoughts behind it. I'm not going to be investing in the TCG Dark Magician Girl's Ghost. I'm going to be investing in the Japanese OCGs because they are uncensored. And my personal belief is the uncensored cards, regardless of them being OCG, regardless of them you not being able to play them here in the TCG, regardless of them being Asian cards, Japanese cards, it does not matter. I personally believe Dark Magician Girl is always going to be superior in its uncensored artwork. I know that the Magicians, the secret rare ones, the original ones for us, if the first edition secrets and unlimited, those are still good value. And I'm not saying that, that's not trash, that the English ones are trash or anything like that. I'm not trying to bag on people that invest in the Lost Art promos or that have, Magician's Force secret rare first. Like, that's good on you. That is great value. But understand that the TCG versions are all uncensored and they all have really great artworks. Like, that they have this OG amazing ultra rare, which has the old school text box, which is really, really great, which is one of the only, I think there's 2 versions of Dark Magician Girl, at least 2 holo versions that have this, like, they're old enough to have this old school original text attack and defense box, which is really, really great history value, merit, and value on that. So they have stuff like, of course, obviously they have in the OCG, they have two different artworks, 2 separate, completely different artworks of Dark Magician Girl in Ghost Rare, from a Duelist pack and a Champions pack, or a Tournament Prize pack, whatever. They also have a dual terminal super rare. Like, they have dual terminal holo foils of Dark Magician Girl in the OCG. How are you guys not on this? I mean, I may stand alone in this. I maybe not. I feel very compassionate about this. I'm just saying, if Konami follows down this path where they're going to only give us the ultra rares in the Lost Arts, and they're gonna pick like the weakest versions of these cards artwork wise, I think it's not gonna work out. I think that there's still a lot of great value in the OCG stuff. So me personally, when everyone's kind of freaking out trying to get their Dark Magician Girls, it's not worth it. I would very much recommend that you guys invest in higher rarity OCG prints of Dark Magician Girl. Again, either one of the 2 Ghost versions. The dual terminal super rare is my favorite all-time print ever. Like, that just looks great. The ghosts look great, but the DT super rares are just great. I've invested very heavily in those. This version specifically, the Premium Pack 4, again, this is one of the very first prints of this card, and this card is just gorgeous. It looks really great. I'm not a big fan of ultra rares at all. This is really bad condition, obviously. Here on eBay, obviously, you got to be really careful with conditioning. You have to talk to the sellers and all that, but this looks really, really great. This is definitely an ultra rare I appreciate, again, more specifically because of that old school text box on the bottom. And again, this is the OG artwork. This is really great artwork. Everyone knows this artwork. This artwork takes it back. This artwork started all for everyone. So really great stuff here. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Personally, I think you guys should stop paying attention and following the hype train about all this garbage of the Lost Art. Like, Konami is literally picking like the weakest stuff too, behind the sheer fact that they're picking just a lame rarity of ultra rare. If there dawns a day when they start producing secret rare Lost Arts, then I'll be interested. That will be something cool. But until they upgrade those rarities, we get ultra rares for everything. Ultra rare is the most overproduced rarity in like all of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously besides common. But anyway, so this is the OCG card that I wanted to showcase kind of at the end of the video here that I think is really cool. This version specifically, obviously any kind of holo version. I mean, hell, even the commons too, even the Millennium rares and the commons. but more specifically for the, for the holofoils, they're all just really great. Obviously, these prices fluctuate a lot, and these aren't really that expensive. Again, we're talking about what the Lost Art Dark Magician Girl spiked or peaked at, what, 75, 80, I think was the highest. I don't remember. Again, I haven't really been following that trend too heavily. I've just been kind of making myself aware. And, now it's plummeted down to how much? I'm not even sure, with the announcement of the second wave reprint of literally the same damn card in the same rarity and the same artwork. It's crazy. But anyway, these are relatively affordable. Check them out. Again, this is a really great version. So I would definitely keep an eye out for this. And Shaddoll Showdown. So I'm on eBay again. This is my platform for structure decks, looking for highest to lowest, because I was actually looking to see if there's any sealed cases. Give you guys an example of going in and buying these first edition sealed cases. You can already see like this structure deck alone already, and this is just a perfect example, just like Zombie Horde, and I'm about to talk about Soulburner in a minute here. But Shaddolls, just like Burning Abyss, just like Stellar Knights, they're just really big fan favorite decks. There's a lot of just great. It's a really fun deck. It's a relatively easy deck to pilot. It's very splashable. Again, Shaddolls is just a very beloved deck. It's a really big fan favorite deck, and there's a lot of just they're not necessarily great value right now, but obviously like the cheapest one sealed is like 20 plus, so it's already doubled in value. And this is a relatively new structure deck. Like, this was what, three structure decks ago, maybe 4 structure decks ago. This was the new one, so it's really not that old at all, and this is just going to continue to rise in value, again, specifically for the sealed first editions. And I'm going to tell you guys why. I mean, we can see here there's really not much value. A couple bones for Allure of Darkness common, a couple bones for Windy. Obviously, this is a solo print. This is one of the best Shaddoll cards. Obviously, main deck monsters of Shaddolls, in my personal opinion, got common, super poly, and that's pretty much it. There isn't really much of value to warrant this $20 first edition sealed structure deck, which started at 10. Granted, remember, if you follow the rule, you do a pre-release, you buy, in bulk, and you save, you pay less than even 10 a pop, and then you just hold them, and they just continue to grow in value over time, sealed first. But this, another thing that I really wanted to point out more specifically, besides just the infamy and just the huge popularity behind this, and that no matter what, it doesn't even matter what is really in this deck, the sheer fact that it says Shaddoll, and that it's first edition and sealed, it's going to hold great value as time goes on. But besides the fact that Wendy's a solo print, and this is the only way you can get Wendy, and the solo print of Ariel as of right now, and I believe a solo print of however you pronounce this card, the alternate art versions of Winda and Construct, which are very, very, I love both of these artworks a lot. Now, granted, I love the Ultimate Constructs and all that. I personally don't have any myself. They look great. And then I think Window was always ultra. There's actually a secret. There's a Shadows of Valhalla secret rare, which actually I prefer. It looks like really nice. But these are the only versions. The only way that you can get the alternative artworks of these very powerhouse mainstream Shaddoll cards is in the structure deck. So that gives a little bit of hidden value to the Shaddoll Showdown structure deck, personally, in my opinion. And the last thing I want to talk about is Soulburner. So Ash Blossom is still a $13 common, and that's really insane. When this card hit 10 bones, I really thought that was going to be the top out. It was never going to go past 10, and apparently it's been sitting at 13 for at least a little bit here. I mean, I didn't even realize until I started researching this. Soulburner is just another one of those structure decks that you can invest in. I personally invested in this when I was in Japan. This came out when I was in Japan. I invested in three cases, first edition sealed, obviously, TCG, all that stuff. Again, off eBay, pre-order. I think I paid like 7 or 8 bones per deck, and I still, to this day, these are sitting at my dad's house, sealed in Texas, stashed away in a closet, just because. And right now, I mean, Ash Blossom is really the only value that's carrying this through. Obviously, it's an almost $30 structure deck, and Ash Blossom is really the only reason. Ash Blossom, pretty much everyone's running a playset. It's an amazing hand trap, and even though it's a lowly common, it's still an Ash Blossom. everything else really, plummeted in value. But for the longest time, Salamangreats were they dominated the game. They were the deck to be for quite a while. And now obviously they're not, so the prices are reflecting. But I don't think this deck is completely done. I don't think that there's not a way for this deck to rejuvenate and resurface eventually. And there's a lot of players that actually like this deck a lot. So this is just an example. Again, if you guys go in, pre-order, buy in bulk, buy 3-4 cases, knock down your price from 10 a piece to about 8-7, whatever the deal is that you can get. That's what I do personally on eBay. So really great stuff. Again, this is for a long haul investment. You're not going to flip this right away. This is definitely a waiting game tactic that I use, and it's worked really great for me specifically. And then also, you got to remember, again, a really important thing is there always has to be a buyer. It doesn't matter what you're investing in, if it's high rarity or quantity or whatever it is, there always has to be a buyer. So make sure you're always aware of that. Always keep that in mind when you do stuff like this. That you just kind of make your own rules, and you just kind of it goes how it goes, and you kind of just figure out as time goes on. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. Link below is going to be to my Facebook. I would love for any and all of you guys to add me, message me. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been part of my life for almost 2 decades. I would love to talk about anything Yu-Gi-Oh! With you guys. Yu-Gi-Oh! Can do some really awesome stuff. I'm really compassionate about this game. I love the trading, the friendship, the brotherhood, the dueling, the tournaments, the investment aspects. There's just so much really cool stuff that goes into this game. A lot of positive energy. I think you can do a lot of great stuff to anyone who just kind of decides to invest in it, invest time, invest whatever it is that they want to invest into the game, and that's just what they're going to get out of it, and it's going to be really great. I hope you guys are making some fantastic investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by The White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.